In this tutorial, I am going to discuss how we can use Venlearn AI to generate and modify content in Venlearn Editor. AI has proven to be a very useful tool in our daily activities, and we can apply AI in Venlearn in order to create and modify content that would have been otherwise difficult or stressful to create. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can apply smart Venlearn AI to solve some of your problems with content generation, content improvement, or content moderation. So the first thing we are going to do is first we are going to, you can see that we have a biology. Group 1 is empty, group 2 is empty, there's nothing there. And then we have an open AI panel. So when you open the AI panel, currently there's no content in it. Now, this is what the AI window looks like. This is what the AI model looks like. At the left side, you have your AI credits. You can see we have around 144,000 credits. I'm going to show you how to get AI credits and how to choose the payment method to top up for your AI credits. Then we can clear chat history. So AI, our Venlearn AI is more or less like an interactive chat interface where you can tell the AI what to do and it does just that for you. So we also have, we can clear the chat history. We also have the content area. So this is where all our generated or modified content will show. Okay, at the very left pane, and then we have the close and save. So whenever we have a content change here, the save button will be highlighted. And at the very right, we have our models. So you can see that currently we have the 3 most popular AI models: GPT, Cloud, Sonnet, and Gemini. So we can switch between models as we wish. Then we also have where we type our contents. So you can start typing your prompt here, and then whenever you type, you can send it. Also, we can also upload files, be it images, PDF, videos, or whatnot. So we're going to talk about that in subsequent, in later, as we move towards the end of the tutorial. Now, the first thing you do, let's go back and see. So currently, let's assume we want AI to generate 5 biology questions for us. So first off, we need to understand that AI works with what we call the context. So if you're going to tell AI via a prompt to generate questions for you, it can actually do that, but usually it can give you better results if you give it better context. The good thing about Venlearn system or Venlearn editor software is that however you're creating content, AI is able to recognize that you are working with a biology topic. So it has context of the ancestor nodes. For example, we are trying to create content under this group 1, but AI knows everything above. It knows that you're trying to create an assessment. It knows that you have named the assessment AI-generated assessment. It knows the subjects, all the properties. So these are important contexts for AI. So AI now knows that we are dealing with biology. It knows that we have chosen multiple choice single select question. It knows that we have 4 options that is desired. So whenever it needs to create option, it will work with the 4 options, otherwise, except otherwise stated during the prompt. Then it also see that we have 5 questions here. It can generate more. Your prompts can actually override the context here or the properties here. So if you want to generate more than 10 questions, you can include it in the prompt. If you don't give it a number of questions, it uses its own context, the knowledge it has to generate questions. So it can also see that there are no topics. So whenever I tell AI to generate based on the topic, it can automatically detect there are no topics and it smartly find a way to handle that. Then it has, context about all the properties. So it's very important. But there are very, very important properties here. For example, if we fail to set, if we don't set the question type and then we go to the AI, it prompts us an error and says, question type value not set in biology. So AI wants you to tell it the kind of question you want before you can go ahead and generate those items. So in order for us to work with the AI, we choose this. Let's start with this. So we can now go back. Now let's click on the AI panel. Now, say for example, we want the AI to generate 5 questions on the topic cell structure. So you can simply prompt the AI, generate 5 questions on the topic cell structure. Now, there are important things to note here. 5 questions. You're explicitly telling AI how many questions you want to create. And you're also giving it a topic. So these are also important contexts. So AI will use this context in addition to the other context in the ancestor nodes for the paper and for the group and generate something for you. Now, the current model is Gemini, but you can decide to switch between Cloud Sonnet or GPT. So I'm going to talk about the difference after this prompt. So for instance, now I can click send and then the AI gets to work. Remember, we told you to generate 5 questions on the topic cell structure. So you will see how AI would, based on its knowledge, generate the 5 questions, the options, as well as the explanation, and then it will now, give us the results and we can access it. So you can see the outputs. It did the job just well. Now, there are important parts to note. In the chat UI, you can see our charts. And then the AI has given you response of what it created. Successfully generated 5 multiple choice questions on the topic cell structure. So this is very important because when you prompt an AI to do something, it gives you sort of a summary of what it has done. There are more complex cases, I will show you later, where these prompts can be very helpful to see at a glance if the AI did exactly what you've just asked it to do. So it's a very, very important response. And now the left area, you can now see the 5 questions it generated. And it's followed the instruction. So you can see question 1, which organelle is known to control this as the control center of the cell. It provided the answer, the nucleus, and then the explanation. Question 2, you can see the question, cellular respiration. Question 3, so it did everything very smartly down to question 5. Now, say we are not satisfied with question 3 for some reasons, or maybe let's look at question 2. Question 2 explanation is not suitable. You can as well prompt AI to update the question 2. However, you need to explicitly select the question. So each of these questions are selectable. Now, what it means is that AI will only apply to the selected question. Okay, so before we get to that, let's just submit and see what it looks like. Now you can see now, automatically 5 questions have just come out and all these are AI generated. You can see the question 1, everything including the explanation. You can see the topic cell structure. So it created the cell structure and assigned that particular question to the topic and it did it automatically. So the answer here is B down to the 5 question. So you can see how AI works. With AI, you can generate content, you can modify it. So if I click on this AI again, you can now see all the questions. Now, it has selected all the questions by default for us. So we can work with it. So if we want to make changes based on any of these 5 questions, we can tell AI, and AI scans all the questions. So that brings me to another thing called the context window. Now, each time you give an AI a prompt, it gathers all available information it has in order for you to create a very responsible and useful answer for you. So the context window is essentially the number of, the amount of inputs as well as the total output the AI generated all together. And this can actually affect our AI costs. Now, we have selected 5 questions. If we wanted the AI to make changes to only question 3, the context window will add both question 1 and 4, 3, and 2 as part of the prompts. And it is not useful. So the idea of being able to select the question we want the AI to work on is important because it can help us save the context. So we are good with other questions aside question 2. So let's say in this question, we want the AI to improve on the explanation. Maybe the explanation is not rich enough. So we want it to add a bit of flesh to it. So instead of us to select all the questions and send it to the AI, which would cost more, we can just only select question 2. So our system allows you to select the particular question you want to modify. So if there are more than one question, you modify. So you can see that question 2 is selected. So we can say improve the explanation of the selected or the attached question, right? So it attaches the question as part of the prompt. So when we submit now, you can see now the system has already taken the question and attached it. So you can see that AI will just be able to modify only this question 2, the explanation. So allow AI to do that. So now you can see the explanation. So it's always important to read the preview before you are satisfied. So you know what the AI did. The explanation for the provided question has been improved to offer a more detailed and comprehensive breakdown of cellular respiration and an analysis of the incorrect option. So you can see now the previous option was, I think, was 2-line. As we told it to improve it, it improved it perfectly. In fact, it's added bold where it needed. It added numbered lists. It added unordered lists. So you can see how it works. So you can see also an overview of what happened. 0 question generated, 1 question updated. So the AI knows that it's not supposed to generate a new question. Rather, it needs to update an existing question. So if we're okay with this, we can save. So you can see that the explanation has been updated. So now brings me to the concept of tokens. So before we proceed, I need to tell you and show you more about how AI charges, because this AI feature, you need tokens to work with it, and how you can get tokens, how you can purchase tokens, and how much the tokens cost. So the first thing we're going to look at is we'll go to accounts and go to wallets. Now, currently we have about 5 wallets: the top-up wallet, the referral wallet, the bonus wallet, the AI unit wallet, as well as the SMS unit wallet. But we're only interested in these wallets. In fact, we may still need this wallet, top-up wallet, because we can top up here and buy AI credit from our top-up wallet. But let's focus only on the AI unit wallet. So you can see the previous transaction. The last prompt I did to modify, to improve the explanation, cost us 12 naira. You can see some of the transactions we've done. So this is the unit. So in order for me to purchase a unit, you can click on this plus here. And now you can enter the amount you want to purchase. So let's say I want to purchase, I think the minimum amount is 1,000 naira. So 1,000 will give you 13,000 AI credits. And you can pay directly using the direct payment option. You can pay using top-up wallet, referral wallet, or bonus wallet. But because we have 0 naira in them, they are disabled. Okay, so 13,000 units would add up to this 143,000 to give us about 156,000 units, or 157, right? So let's see if that works. So we can click on pay, and it automatically opens a pay stack checkout page for us. This is a test page, and we can pay 1,000. Automatically, it would be paid, and then we can now go back. When we refresh, you can see that it's changed to 157. So if we click on this AI unit, you will just see that we have just topped up 1,000 naira in AI credits. So it's a very simple way to top up. So you can pay with Paystack, you can pay via bank transfer, via bank, or via your credit card. So this is where you can see all your recent transactions for each prompt. Now you can see that each of these prompts, each of these debits is prompts, and each of these prompts costs different amounts. This is lower, this is a bit high. So it really depends on 3 things: the model you are using, the context window. So the model, we have Gemini, we have GPT, and we have Cloud. Cloud is usually the most expensive, but it's more useful for complex operations. Gemini is actually the cheapest, but there are some areas it may be found wanting. Okay, so it really depends. You can look at the documentation or the websites of the different providers to see their cost per 1 million tokens. Then another thing that affects the cost is the context window. So context window is essentially telling you the inputs you are giving to the AI, the number of tokens or the number of texts, and then the output it's expected to provide for you. These things affect the costs of AI. And also the file you upload. So our system allows you to upload file as part of context. So if you upload a very heavy file, it means the AI would need to read through large files, which will affect your tokens. So be very careful on how you use the AI. It can be very useful, at the same time it can be very expensive. But trust me, it can actually be a cost-effective way to generate content if you know how to use it well. So that's that on how to top up your wallet. So we have 157 units, and then we can keep using this unit. So you can see our transaction history. We've been using the AI to solve a lot of problems for our content. So we can cancel. Now, that's not all. So let me just renumber this question. Apparently the AI needed to. So that's not all. Let's go to group 2. So if I click on this, the other things you can do, You can also upload a file and ask the AI to use the file as a context. This is useful. For example, if you are a class teacher, you just lecture them on a topic and you have a PDF of that topic and you want AI to generate questions only based on what is in the PDF or what was taught. The AI only just reads the PDF and generates content for that. So you can, from here, and upload a file. I don't know if I have any PDF file. Let's see. And we have this ecology PDF. It's around a 7 pages PDF. And then once the AI, so automatically it would detect the PDF. It's a 392 kilobyte PDF. So we can say the AI generates 5 questions using exclusively the attached PDF as context. So the AI is a very important instruction, 5 questions exclusively. So it shouldn't use its memory, its own knowledge or its own intelligence. Just based on whatever is in this PDF, generate 5 questions from this PDF. So AI will also look at that. So remember now we have attached a file. So what it means is that there's going to be more token usage because the AI will scan through the PDF, study it, see the content of the PDF, and only generate questions based on the PDF. So again, your prompts can be very, very, granular. These are very generic prompts, but you can tell it, go to chapter 3, paragraph 2, do this, do that. Like you can filter it down to the lowest level for the AI to get you what you want. Okay, so this is an illustration purpose. So we are just doing it at a very generic level. So you can see it. It did successfully generated 5 multiple choice single select questions based exclusively on the PDF document about general ecology. If you open the PDF document, you see that it's talking about general ecology. So you can see it. The first, who first coined the term ecology? The 5 questions are generated and you can cross-check it. And the AI is smart enough to generate it across the whole PDF. It doesn't just go to the first chapter and generate 5 questions. It sort of tries to balance it. So this is a very, very smooth way. You can save it and you can see the 5 questions we've created. Everything works, okay? Everything works. But that's not all. What about we want to, let's for instance, we want to generate questions based on an existing question we have in our editor. Maybe we wanted to modify it. For example, this is group 1 now. Group 1 contains questions on cell structure. And we want to create similar questions like group 1, but it should be different for another group so that group 1's question will be different. We don't have to start looking at what group 1 is and trying to modify it. AI can do that for us. So let's create a group 3. So under group 3, we can click on this and then again attach context. So not only can you upload file. Now this file upload is not just PDF. You can upload your video files, you can upload your audio files, you can upload your text files, whatever file type. So if I click upload, it allows you to upload virtually any kind of file. So it depends on what you have and what you want to use to generate the question. Okay, so do well to check the documentation for you to know what to do. So, but you can also upload questions from this same project. So if you want to give as context some questions in your project already, so that AI will work on those questions. So you can just click select here. Now you can see this same project we created. You can see the 2. Let me zoom. Let me expand. So you can see the first set of questions we created. Now let's say if you look at each question, you can see this is a cell structure. Let's say we want the AI to generate questions based on this question 1, based on question 2. If you look at question 2, you can look at the preview. Let's just select these 3 questions. Let's make it 3 so that we reduce costs. Now you can tell the AI, generate new question, 3, let's say 3 new questions using the attached question as reference. Say ensure the generated questions are alike, or you can say are derived from same same topic, but must be clearly different questions. So when we're saying the AI to do it, generates questions just like we have in the 3 attached questions. Yeah, so you can see we have 3 questions and it's more like a zip file, 1.6 kilobytes. So AI will read those 3 questions and based on your prompt, generates questions that are similar in their topic and then some of the structures and generates such question for us. So this is also very useful if you want to sort of create a new group without having to, you can just have one question and tell AI to just remodify an existing group of questions, and then it's going to be able to do the job for you. So let's look at it. So you can see it. It generated it also based on, it generated 3 questions because we asked it to generate 3. So we are good with it. So it is based on the attached file. Successfully generated multiple choice on the topic cell structure based on the provided reference questions. So AI does the job and tell us what it did. We verify that that's what we wanted it to do. And then we look at the questions. If we're good with it, we can save. So you see how easy it is to generate questions with AI. So not only can we generate with AI using from a group, if we have a question selected, say question 3, we can still prompt the AI to make changes on this question. We can tell it, change the options arrangement, add more options, like pretty much anything that can be prompted, anything you can tell someone to do for you can be done with AI. So whatever you want the question to be, you can prompt it. You can tell it, change it to 3 options, 5 options, 10 options, whatever, convert it to fill in the blank, whatnot. So the AI is able to do that. Now let's look at another example. So this is for biology. Let's go to maths. So let's generate a new question group for maths. Now, AI can also generate math style equation. However, maths is a bit tricky and this is where model capabilities come in. So when you need to do anything that is a bit technical, that involves mathematics or coding, a much recommended model is Cloud Sonnet. It doesn't mean that Gemini will not be able to do GPT, but we have had more success and more cleaner output with Cloud. I'm pretty sure most of the maths you need to generate can be generated by any of these 3 models, but it's just like a preference for me. But you should know that Cloud Sonnet may cost more tokens compared to the other models. So you can just simply tell it, generate one question on the topic indices and logarithms. Sorry. Yeah. So the Sonnet works on the, so as we are typing, we're discovering that the AI tokens will be reducing. So it has been just generated. Is a very simple question. So you see that if you save it, it generated is a very simple question. So there are no complex mathematics, but the same approach applies. So however complex the question you want to generate, the AI just does it for you. So you can see successfully generated one mathematics question on the topic indices and logarithm. The question tests understanding of logarithmic evaluation using basic logarithmic rules and properties of exponents. So it gives you sort of a detailed breakdown of what it did so that you can still prompt it. So if we're not satisfied, you can keep prompting it and it uses the context both on this, but make sure you select this if you wanted to make any modification based on this. So if we're good, we can just save it. So you can see the question. Yeah. So you can edit it. It's a K-text, so you can see the K-text. So AI also knows how to do K-text. So if there are some K-text you don't want to go through the documentation, if you have a picture, you can just tell AI to look at the picture and generate K-text based off of it. Now that's not all. AI can also generate other types of questions. Let's say we change this to fill in the blank question. Okay, so we can simply just tell AI, generate one fill in the blank question in mathematics. So what we just have to do, let's just create a new group in this so that it's simpler. So we can tell AI, generate a simple fill in the blank question on the topic algebraic process. So we're still using Cloud Sonnet model because we are working with maths. It's usually better. And so we see what it does for us. So you can see it has successfully generated 5 distinct fill-in-the-blank questions on the topic algebraic process. So you can see the questions and it's a fill-in-the-blank. So we can save it and see how it looks like. Okay, so it's, if you can see the entry. So the question, the product of X is, so if you manage answers, you see what the answer is. Okay, so you can do similar things for the other different question. This is 6. So it just works. It also assigned the topics. So it doesn't stop there. I think in group 2, we didn't assign topics. So there are no topic assigned in each of these. So you can simply just tell AI, assign topics to each of the question. So when we prompt it and it runs, it's going to assign different topics to it. Another thing we can do with AI is simply completion. So for example, we can add a new group. We can say this is group 3. Oh, sorry, group 4. And then we can say, we can add a new question under group 4. And we can say, the powerhouse of the cell is, so we know we are supposed to put the options and the explanation and the answer, but let's say we just know that this is the question we want to set and we don't want to go through the hassle of all these things. What we can just do is to ask AI to fix it. So you can discover that there's a default fix when you click on an existing question. So that may just be enough, or you can write a custom prompt, complete the attached question. So whatever you want, you can just simply use this fix. And then the AI knows that the question is not complete. It needs to add the options as well as the explanation. So it does the job for us. So you can see it now. It has, the powerhouse of the cell is known as the mitochondria. So it filled it up for us. And then it generated more questions. Again, the reason why it generated 5 questions for us is because we didn't specify the number of questions we wanted it to modify. So it's using based on its past context. So it's updated that question and then generated 4 other questions for us. So we can save it and then we'll see how the question looks. So this was the question we created. So you can discover how AI works. So, but one thing I would advise is ensure your prompts are much more granular, more like they are more detailed. They go straight to the point. Using generic prompts can actually produce undesirable results, just like we have seen. So AI is just garbage in, garbage out. Whatever I tell it to do, it will do. So sometimes your prompts can be very useful for it to do the right thing. So if you use AI every day, you can notice that AI sometimes may not be able to do the things you want it to do. So that is essentially that about AI. In this tutorial, we have been able to talk about how to use AI to generate and modify content, any type of content. It could be multiple choice single select, multiple choice multi select, fill in the blank, or theory questions. AI has the ability to do that for us. We also talked about how to top up our AI tokens or AI units, how to change models, how to provide proper context using the prompts or uploading files. We can upload different file types or even upload the questions from our existing projects. We have seen how to modify prompts to suit AI such that it produces a desired result.